Witam moi drodzy, z tej strony Tomasz. W tym filmiku chciałbym Wam pokazać, jak wygląda Żydowska świątynia od środka. Pewnie niewielu z Was miało możliwość taką świątynię zobaczyć, więc teraz macie taką możliwość. Film jest w języku angielskim. Mój znajomy dał mi taki tour po tej świątyni i sporo rzeczy tam ładnie poopowiadał i potłumaczył, więc sporo rzeczy się dowiecie, a przy okazji poćwiczycie sobie język angielski. Zapraszam, hej!
So this is what we call a talit. A talit is basically like a prayer shawl or a prayer like scarf. And if you're an adult, you can wear this. And there's always a prayer here, and it basically just says, thank you, God, for giving me the ability to wear this prayer shawl and to be able to pray to you. And you put it over your shoulders, and you use this to pray when you go inside the synagogue. Just to remind you that you're in a synagogue and that you're under the presence of God. This is a kippah or a yarmulke.
So how we do it that it doesn't come out?
It's wide enough here, and it's such a big curve that it stays on your head. Or you can put a little clip and clip it to your hair. And we have the white ones here mostly. If you notice, these are all the white ones, because this time of year is what we call our high holy days, Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, and we wear white on those holidays for purity. You wear black most of the rest of the year. But honestly, they could be any color, so long as you're covering your head, and you cover your head when you pray to humble yourself in the the light of the Lord, to remind you that He is the Almighty and that you're there to pray to Him. It's just a humbling reminder. That's our memorial room. The names here, if you walk in and go around, you'll see a lot of names on the wall. These names are basically just the names of people who have passed away, and this is a place where you can go to remember those lost loved ones and to say a prayer, remember their greatness. And
What do you do after the death, guys? Do you just cremate the body or what?
no, we typically bury in the ground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no cremation. Typically, it's buried in the ground.
So the cemetery has to be somewhere here, right?
Yeah, there's a cemetery nearby.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And so this is just a way to remember it in this, kind of a private room where you can just come and think about your loved ones and reflect on the past. And it's just a way of honoring them, basically,
Yeah, that's cool.
So you can go out that way. And this is the main sanctuary in here.
Oh wow.
Now you have a lot. I'll turn on some lights. You have a lot of seats like you would in any church or temple or anything like that. And there's a stage area up front there where the rabbi and the cantor conduct the services. The rabbi is much like a priest, but we also have a cantor who sings the prayers. And the cantor is not versed in the things that a rabbi would be versed in, but the cantor is just somebody who has kind of like an operatic voice, who can read all the prayers and chant.
Is it in English or Hebrew?
Hebrew. Typically Hebrew mostly. Our services are kind of half and half. There's a lot of English in our services because we're Reformed. If you went to an Orthodox temple, it would be almost all Hebrew. There would be very little English.
I guess they wouldn't let me in, right?
An Orthodox temple would not even let me in because they see me as not being a Reformed Jew.
Yeah.
Then you're not allowed in there. Now, the opposite is true with a Reformed Jew. I'm a Reformed Jew, and anybody can come into this facility while we're having our Shabbat prayers or not. Anybody is welcome to come and to see how it's done and to participate.
So let's say you want to come next time just to see how is it.
Yeah.
It's okay for me to come, right?
Yeah. Friday nights would be a good time to come. This Friday night, they're doing a bar mitzvah. So it would be different than a typical Friday night. A bar mitzvah is the celebration of a young kid becoming an adult, and they lead the service. The kid who's becoming the adult leads the service, so it's a little bit different. Here, walk up front here.
What about the dress code?
You know, you wear a dress shirt and tie. You know, if you have a suit, you could wear a suit. I mean, whatever you have. This is the organ here that the musician will play during the songs and stuff. It's quite fancy. It's kind of like an electronic, what do they call it, keyboard. This is locked up, but there's 2 or 3 keyboards in here, and then they play stuff with their feet as well. And then that's all the microphones, the wireless mics, and the sound system stuff. And then if you get down in there, they actually play the rhythm and the bassy tones with their feet. They're playing other things with their hands. So there's a lot. Then honored people sit up here. This is considered what we call on the pulpit. The pulpit basically just means like the stage. They come up towards the stage area. So there is where the rabbi and the cantor are.
So what is this one?
For flowers. They always will put some flowers there. Yeah, they get that wet and it's like a sponge and they put flowers in there. And then this is a memorial candles. During every Shabbat service, which is our Friday night and Saturday services, you always light 2 candles to start the service. And then this is a wine cup. You always drink wine as well. And then these are some memorial candles here. Then this is the Hebrew word for memorial. And it basically, you light memorial candles if there's somebody in your family who's passed away during this time of year, and it's like the anniversary of their death. This that you're looking at now is called the Ark, and inside the Ark is where we keep the Torahs. We can open it and see if you like. This actually lights up. I don't know how to turn that light on though. And so inside here we have all the different Torahs. Our synagogue has quite a few Torahs. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Torah up high, that's in the circular hard enclosure, the one that has kind of the reddish velvet in the middle, that one actually came over on a wooden wagon and horse-pulled wooden wagon in 1844 when the first synagogue in the west of the United States in San Bernardino, and it was our synagogue, and that was the Torah that came over on it. We don't use it anymore. It's just there. You know, it still is functional, but you know, it's just there. You notice all of the Torahs have the same covers, which is typical inside of a temple. You get similar covers, but if you were to take the cover off, you see how there's 2 things sticking up top. These are scrolls, and it's on 2 huge scrolls, and it's one continuous piece of parchment that they write the Torah on. And each Torah is written by a specialized Torah writing scribe who will study all his or her life to be able to write the Torah. And they have the entire Torah memorized, and they're able to write the Torah from memorization. And if there's one mistake in the Torah, then you have to throw it out and start over. You're not allowed to have any mistakes when you're writing a Torah. And then this Torah goes to yet another scribe who will take a look at the Torah and read it from front to end and make sure that there are no mistakes. And then the Torah is considered kosher and that you can use it for a temple.
Are they from Israel or made in the United States?
Some of them are from Israel and some of them are from the United States. I don't know which one is which.
Oh, that's just cool.
Yeah. But various Torahs were given to us from various people for various reasons, different accolades in the temple's history. You know, you might donate a Torah or what have you, for that purpose. Wow. So whenever you open the Ark, you always have the entire congregation stand up to, show honor and respect to the Ark and to the Torahs. And on Friday nights, the Ark is opened numerous times, but you don't read the Torah on Friday nights. But on Saturday mornings, each Saturday morning, the Torah is read, and there's a portion that you read each Saturday morning. And there's, of course, a story or a lesson to be learned from this particular part of the Torah. Well, if you come every single Saturday for an entire year, you will have read the entire Torah. It takes us an entire year. We've split up the Torah into portions that are read each Saturday morning. And so as you attend each Saturday morning service, which is similar to your Sunday morning services, you read a small portion of the Torah every single Saturday. And so then by the end of the year, you've completed the Torah and all the lessons it has to learn, and then you start over again. So this coming Wednesday, no, not tomorrow. Hold on, it might be tomorrow. I think it is tomorrow. We have what we call Simcha Torah, which basically means like a simcha is a blessing or a good deed. And this is when we finish reading the last part of the Torah, and the Torah has to be basically rewound, and we then start reading the very first part of the story of the Torah, which is, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth and the light, and he said, let there be light, that whole part of it. And so that's happening this Wednesday. So our Jewish year basically has just ended. That's what Rosh Hashanah is our Jewish New Year, and we just had that.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
I was wondering, why is it not coming this time of the year?
Yeah, it's not in sync with the Roman calendar, which is what we use in the United States. It's not in sync with that. It's a different calendar, and because of that, the Jewish holidays are always at a different time. Sometimes they're like, for instance, like Hanukkah, which is a very known and popular Jewish holiday. This year, it's on Thanksgiving, literally, where most times it's in December. So sometimes it could be towards the early part, sometimes it could be towards the latter part of the month. And it fluctuates like this because it's a different calendar. It goes by a lunar calendar, which goes by the lunar cycles, which is a little bit different than the Roman calendar. The Roman calendar is a bit off from that.
So which holiday are you going to celebrate? Thanksgiving?
I know, right?
Half day, Hanukkah, and other half?
Yeah, right. We have to do both. The Hebrew letters on the top there, starting from the far right, it says Emmanuel, and then the next word over, which is on the left, says El, which is basically the name of our temple. We are Temple Emmanuel. And then underneath it, which might be hard for you to read on your video there, but it says God is with us. And that's just a nice, warm little statement, which isn't necessarily Jewish or Christian or anything, but it's just, a nice little statement, God is with us. But I don't think that's what Emmanuel means. That's just, that's just a nice saying.
Oh.
So, unfortunately, the God is with us should be, I believe, in gold as well, so you can read it easier, but it wasn't. If you look straight up, you see this wreath-looking thing. It's wooden. No. Oh, yeah, there you can see the God is with us.
Yeah.
But if you zoom back out and look straight up at this, that is a light that we call our eternal light. And back in the day, when you dedicated a temple, now every eternal light looks a little bit different. From the angle you're looking at, you only really see light coming from the right side of it. But this has light coming from all sides, depending upon which angle you're at. You can see the slats, you can see the different light coming from the different sides. Each eternal light is kind of sculpted in an unusual and interesting fashion, but basically it's a light that's always on.
Oh, yeah?
Once the temple is dedicated and is considered a good and kosher and right place to pray and have God in it, then you turn the eternal light on. And this eternal light stays on while the temple is considered a temple. And it's not to be turned off ever.
Does it have an extra batteries in case electricity?
Yes, it has battery backup on it in today's world. Back in the day, this was an oil lamp. And it was somebody's job to make sure that the oil in the eternal light had oil and continued to have oil in it, so the light would stay lit.
So what happens if that doesn't work anymore?
if the light goes out,
Yeah.
you have to rededicate the temple.
Seriously?
Yeah, you do. You have to have a rededication to make sure that the temple is still good. And this is the story of Hanukkah. If you remember back in the Hanukkah history, the Jewish people were being oppressed. We had the Maccabees, and we had the Maccabees were the Jewish people, and then we had the Syrians, which were oppressing the Jewish people. And they destroyed our temple at the time. They wanted us to pray to idols, and they didn't want us to pray to God, and they wanted to force their way of living upon us. And they destroyed our temple and made it into ruins, and they obviously destroyed the eternal light. Well, there was a long fight and a war against the two people, and the Jewish people, thank God, finally won. And when they won, they lit the eternal light. And back then, they had an oil lamp, and there was only enough oil to keep it going for one day. There was a miracle performed by God then that allowed the oil to last for 8 days and 8 nights until they could make more oil and get more oil and put it into the lamp. And so that's why Hanukkah is celebrated for 8 days and 8 nights. And that's why we celebrate Hanukkah, to basically thank God and to remember that great miracle that happened back then. And it's all about that eternal light. Now, they're not always that shape. Sometimes they're just a rectangle, sometimes they're just a flame. Every temple can choose, so long as it's a light, it's good. So into the other room there straight ahead is our social hall, which basically is just a place to have a reception. It's just an empty room basically, and then they bring in tables and chairs, and you have a little, light, maybe cookies and, things like that afterwards, after the service. Or depending upon if it's a bar mitzvah like that we're having next weekend, and the young man is becoming an adult, they'll throw a full-blown huge party with a DJ and a big meal and a celebration, almost like a wedding or a quinceañera, to basically celebrate the fact that, yes, he did it, it's done, he's an adult now, and they have a big celebration. So it's kind of nice.
Oh, wow.
So that's it. Any questions?
No.
I'll probably give